What's up, you sweaty nerds and greasy degenerates? Dan Hung in Bibitur Lune comes out in a little over a week from now, then XUAN comes out right after that, so who should you pull for? Super Saiyan Dan or XUAN? Or should you skip and maybe save your tickets, your Jade, for patch 1.4? Or should you pull for Kafka now, before it's too late? Anyways, let's get to the video so you can make an informed decision for yourself. So, Dan Hung in Bibitur Lune, aka Super Saiyan Dan, will be consuming skill point energy or skill point stacks to give himself an enhanced basic attack. And so his skill is what does that. His skill does not count as actually using a skill, which is interesting. His skill won't itself be dealing any damage. It's a matter of, do you consume skill point energy or do you use skill point stacks? And he can build up stacks in many different ways. You can, like I said, be greedy and consume skill point energy instead if you so desire, and there will be moments where you probably want to do that. He has 3 different enhanced basic attacks because of this, and they synergize with his talent based on how many times you buff up his enhanced basic attack. He has a 1, a 2, and a 3 for the enhanced basic attacks. From what we know so far, it seems like his first version of the enhanced basic attack won't be giving him an increased damage bonus, but his talent does give him an increased overall damage bonus based on the amount of successive hits he performs. And so basically, the higher amount of SP energy we use, or the higher amount of stacks we use, the higher a damage bonus he'll get, because it is based on how many hits he has per attack after a certain point during the attack. And according to what we know so far, his second basic attack and his third basic attack are how that will work, because those are the ones that reach that threshold to give himself the damage bonus. So I want you guys to just be aware of that. So based on what we can assume as of right now, Dan Hung has 3 different enhanced basic attacks, and depending on which one you use, one of them will hit either a single target, and the other ones are more than likely going to hit 3 targets at once. The main target you aim for taking most of the damage, and then the enemies on the left and right of that target taking a reduced amount of damage compared to that single target you aimed for. Just like with Blade or any other enemy where you hit 3 targets at once. But that is our assumption at this point in time. It could change before his release. What we know for a fact so far, based on the special programming that we were able to see from Hoyoverse themselves, Dan Hung's ultimate will, for a fact, be hitting 3 targets at once, that main target taking most of the damage, and again, the enemies on the left and right will be taking a reduced amount of damage. His ultimate will also give him stacks in order to use with his basic attack. We assume at this time that he'll be getting 2 stacks from his ultimate, and we assume that his technique will also give him some stacks, but we believe his technique will only be giving him 1 because it's not his ultimate. That's kind of just how things typically work. But something interesting that we suspect as of right now is that for possibly the first time ever, Dan Hung's ultimate won't actually be dealing as much damage compared to his highest damaging basic attack. He has a very interesting kit where he gets all these damage bonuses and all of these different enhancements from his basic attack through his skill and through those stacks that you can use. And so it is suspected at this time that his enhanced basic attack, the 3rd version, will actually be his highest damaging attack, which is rather interesting. But that's mostly damage. The cool thing about his ultimate is that it not only deals damage, but it also gives you the stacks to use with your enhanced basic attack. And because it's an ultimate, it doesn't count as part of your actual turn, so sometimes you'll be able to get the damage multipliers on your enhanced basic attack. At least that's the assumption that we have going off of right now. And let's move on to his technique, which we know for a fact because of the special programming, damages enemies that he charges for. So you use it before battle, and then when you enter battle, it charges at enemies, and then it damages whichever enemies that he ends up charging at. It seems a little bit randomized, and it will also give him a certain number of stacks of his ability to use with his enhanced basic attack. They said stacks in the special programming, but it is suspected at this time that he will only get 1 stack, but we don't 100% know for sure. Sometimes things are changed last minute, so I just wanted you guys to know about that. Alright, now let's talk about XUAN. And I need to talk about Fuchuan real quick before we get into her combat abilities, okay? I need to sit some of you guys down, have a real talking to you, alright? Because I've heard some ridiculous things about Fuchuan over the last few months, and they're outlandish, okay? Fuchuan's bad, guys. Fuchuan's mid. Oh no, it's Jingyuan, or it's Dea all over again, guys. You guys need to calm down. You need to stop having PTSD over what happened a year ago in Genshin Impact. This isn't Genshin Impact. It's made by the same people, but it's made by a different team. Okay? You guys need to calm down. Have they released a single bad premium 5-star character in this game so far? No, they haven't. Not a single one. Okay? You guys need to like get a grip on reality, okay? They haven't. You think they're just going to start releasing bad characters now because they're bored or something? Like just because it's a different style kit than you're used to seeing doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Oftentimes it's a good thing. It's different, it's fun, it's exciting, and honestly, Fuchuan could give the enemy a box of chocolates and a dozen roses every time she attacks, and I wouldn't care. Look at her kit. It's so cool. It's so good. There's so much value here. Let's get into it. She doesn't use shields. That's basically what's scaring everybody. The fact that she doesn't use shields, okay? But calm down, okay? Listen. Her skill lasts for several turns, and when she uses her skill, it absorbs the team damage, and it gives the entire team a max HP increase. How is this bad? I don't understand how this is bad. Like, this is going to... It does... Like, taunts in this game taunt for a little bit, but they could still get hit by AoEs and stuff like that. This is going to absorb the entire team's damage and give your entire team an HP max increase. Now, her talent... Let's talk about her talent, because that's really important, too, and really busted. Her talent reduces the damage taken by the entire team, and this is a permanent effect. I'm going to say that again. It reduces the entire team's damage permanently. Okay? The team takes less damage permanently. Okay? And when her HP drops below a certain percentage, because she is going to get hit a lot, she actually recovers HP. You don't need a healer to do this. She's just going to recover HP. Alright? Now, let's talk about, oh, by the way, she's expected to scale off of HP as well. So, if you build her around HP, you give her a super duper high HP amount, and she's reducing the amount of damage taken, and she has an endless well of HP, and everything is scaling off of her HP. This sounds to me like a character that kind of just can't die, and it makes it so that your team can't die either. I don't know, that sounds pretty good to me, so I don't know what you guys are kind of looking into here, but it sounds like value town, value town, value town over here. Now let's talk about her ultimate, because she doesn't really, like, everything on her talent and on her skill, like, already does everything she needs for a tank, so what does her ultimate do? It does AoE quantum damage to all enemies. That's going to be pretty good, because she's probably going to be on your mono quantum team, right? And she's probably going to be busting down people's shields with her ultimate. That's going to be pretty good. Imagine Silverwolf gets out there and she puts down a whole bunch of enemy debuffs and she makes all the enemies weak to quantum, and then she just mows everybody's shields down at the same time with her ultimate. That's pretty darn good if you ask me. We're not done here. Her ultimate also increases the HP restoration effect of her talent. Yeah, that's pretty good. So whenever her HP drops below a certain percentage, she's just going to gain even more HP back. Could you imagine if an enemy hits her below that threshold and then she gains more HP than was lost? Dude, that would be hilarious. Now, we don't know if that's going to happen, but that'd be pretty funny. And her technique, by the way, blocks all enemy attacks and activates her skill for battle. So when you're traversing in the overworld and you use her technique, you can't be forced into a battle by an enemy, which is really fun and interesting and great for traversal if you're just trying to open chests or whatever. And like I said, it activates her skill effect when she goes into battle, meaning that the moment you guys enter combat, it will absorb all the team's damage and gives the entire team a max HP increase. This just seems like value, 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 if you ask me. Anyways, this patch seems busted. It has a lot of value in it. If you like the guy characters in the game, pull for Dan Hung because you're not going to see a guy for a while. 1.4 is all girls, and the part 2 of 1.3 is all girls. If you need a hyper carry DPS, Dan Hung's your man. Just be aware he's going to be a little skill point hungry, and you're going to have to work around that, but it might not be too big of a problem for you. If you need a mono quantum characters, then there you go. Part 2 of 1.3 is your place to live. If you only need a healer and you're willing to have a 4-star, Lynx is right up there for you. If you pull Fu Xuan by accident, it's not a big deal because she's crazy and she could probably mono sustain anyways. If you want to save for the waifus in part 1.4, you have options in 1.4. Plenty of waifus in 1.4. And by the way, if none of this interests you, of course Kafka is available, and Kafka is absolutely insane. I think that Kafka is one of the highest value characters in the game. She's probably going to be one of the highest value characters in the game for a long time. Just think about this. We don't have a 5-star main DPS for DOT teams yet. When we get that, Kafka's team's going to immediately elevate even higher. She's going to have longevity for the rest of the game. I think Mono Quantum's going to have longevity for the rest of the game as well. And of course the waifus in 1.4 are hot as hell, so pull for what makes you happy. Don't always pull for meta, because not a single 5-star premium character has been released yet that is bad, and just like plenty of people are showing right now, even Jing Yuan, who got power crept a little bit, is still very powerful and can 4-cycle or 5-cycle Memory of Chaos 10. So you don't really need to necessarily like pull for the meta yet, okay? The game's still easy enough for you to be able to complete the way that it is. If this video was entertaining to you in any way, shape, or form, please leave a like and subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, I'm gonna come to your house in the middle of the night, like the boogeyman, and I'm gonna steal your favorite midnight snacks. Probably those Oreos, or maybe those Pringles you got in the pantry. Maybe the lasagna you got there in the refrigerator. I'm not picky. I'll come for whatever you got. So like and subscribe for more.